We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, May 21st, 2019. It's the second regularly scheduled City Commission meeting for the City of Ormond Beach, and we are in the Commission chambers. I hope you felt welcome this evening by Heather Kidd, our Human Resources Manager. She was our greeter tonight. And I'd like to introduce the folks who are sitting up in front of you. To my right and your left, we have Wendy Hantz, our recording secretary, City Clerk Colby Salento, Commissioner Dwight Selby from Zone 1, our Deputy Mayor and Zone 2 Commissioner Troy Kent is not with us. We're hoping he's going to be able to join us. His son is playing in the championship game, baseball, the City of Ormond Beach League, and so he's going to try and make it here depending on where they're at and depending on when we finish. So to my left and your right, Commissioner Susan Persis from Zone 3, Commissioner Rob Littleton, Zone 4, City Manager Joyce Shanahan, Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley, our City Attorney Randy Hayes, and for those of you listening online, I'm Mayor Bill Partington. At this time, if you would, please rise for the invocation given tonight by Chaplain Sam Mercado from Advent Health, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we gather here today to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us. May we act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. And we ask your blessing and guidance on our city leaders as they make these decisions in behalf of our community. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Mercado. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is proclamation time, and it's the time of year where we've got a few and a lot of excitement about the stuff that we're doing tonight. A few years back, Commissioner Boehm, who I thought I saw tonight somewhere, up standing in the back, suggested that our Pop Warner folks, when they made significant achievements, should be brought to the Commission chambers to be recognized. And so for the last probably 10 or 12 years, we have done that, and it's been an amazing opportunity to recognize the scholastic and academic and athletic achievements of these folks. So I would ask our Pop Warner folks to come on up. We've got certificates for you, and Carla, is it Burgoyne? Scholastics coordinator, come on up. Bring everybody up with you. Carla, I'm going to give these to you so that you can pass them out. Yep. And then just pick somebody close to the middle here to hold that while I read it. Just hold that so everybody can see it. Whereas Pop Warner is the nation's largest youth football cheer and dance program with approximately 325,000 participants in 42 states and 7 countries. And whereas Pop Warner programs seek to develop well-rounded young men and women who learn not only the fundamentals of football and cheerleading, but also the importance of education in an atmosphere conducive to developing sound character while having a good time. Pop Warner's commitments to academics is what separates the program from other youth sports. The most academically accomplished participants qualify as All-American Scholars. And whereas the Ormond Beach Youth Football and Cheerleading Association has been participating in football and cheerleading programs since the year 2000, and whereas the parents and the Pop Warner organization are very proud of all the successes both on the field and in the classroom, this year the Ormond Beach Sand Crabs had 24 academic All-Americans with 2 students in the top 35 of their grade in the nation and 7 students on the Southeast Region list. Now, therefore, I, Bill Partington, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, on behalf of this entire commission representing the city and all our 42,000 residents, do hereby proclaim today, May 21st, 2019, as a day to recognize academic All-Americans in the City of Ormond Beach and urge all our residents to join with us on this day in acknowledging the accomplishments of these young people as they continue their commitment to future accomplishments and our community. Congratulations. I'm going to read each name just because I think it's important that you be individually recognized. We've got a certificate for each of you that Carla will give out. Ms. Carla is going to help us with that. And if you're here, please raise your hand so that the audience knows who you are. Liam Burgoyne. Liam, congratulations. Chelsea McQuarrie. John Loach. Logan Miller. Anthony Spalding. Tristan Charles. Aaliyah Mills. Hayden Hayes. Kian Hines. Logan Plimpton. Blake Boda. Sophia Bishop. Cameron Neat. Sophia Harris. Haley Droker. Annabelle Johnson. Noelle Harris. Caroline Clare. Raymond Long. Micah Carr. Elijah Pexon Lim. And Ethan Pexon Lim. McKenna Peace. And Addison Neat. Congratulations to each of you. Carla, did you want to say anything? Wonderful. Very good. And Dave, did you get enough pictures? Parents, did you get enough pictures? We're happy to line up. You only get this opportunity one time. Great. Thank you guys very much, and congratulations to each of you.
She's toying with that, yes.
Next, we have a proclamation to recognize Better Hearing Month. I said we have a... All right, I'll ask Dr. Stacy O'Brien and the Atlantic Hearing, Balance, and Tinnitus Center staff to come forward.
And we have a couple patients here. Is that okay?
Awesome, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys can all come up.
Thank you.
Here we go. Whereas 48 million Americans suffer from hearing loss, and whereas audiologists in the city of Ormond Beach observe and celebrate Better Hearing Month each year during the month of May, and whereas the Ormond Beach City Commission recognizes and values the efforts of all who work to eliminate or minimize the isolating effects of communication disorders in the 1 in 5 families affected by them, and whereas our citizens who have overcome communication disabilities through the services of audiologists are now able to lead more independent, productive, and fulfilling lives, and whereas Ormond Beach is proud and honored to have audiologists offering quality education and healthcare services to its citizens, now therefore, I, Bill Partington, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, proclaim the month of May 2019 as Better Hearing Month in the City of Ormond Beach. And congratulations to you. Thank you for all you do to help with better hearing. It's something that affects everybody of every age at some point in their lives. And did you want to say a few words?
I thought you'd never ask. It's just such a privilege and an honor to be here. Thank you so much for this recognition. This is truly a silent disability that people are embarrassed and become isolated from, but it's so important to treat early. Prevention is key. Over half of hearing loss is preventable. So early screenings, when we catch it early, it is treatable, and it's treatable very easily because the brain has not lost the ability to process and encode speech. Over time, the brain does overwork, and we can't get that back. We can only stabilize what a patient has left. So a hearing screening, obviously if you're in this area, we do screen anyone in the community for free. Those are mostly normal. You come back every year, but when there starts to be a problem, we catch it early. Our hearing and balance organs are attached, so when there's hearing loss, there's always balance loss. Falling is the #1 cause of accidental death in patients over 65. They fall, something breaks, and they don't recover. So just a screening is so important. We're passionate about what we do, annoyingly so, and I just hope that we get the privilege. If you're not in this area and you're listening online, as some of our patients are, we will, from your zip code, find you an audiologist in your area that can help make sure that you get the care that's needed. And we are so excited. Thank you so much for the privilege of this.
Thank you for making the public more aware of it, and for all of you being here tonight to help us recognize it.
Do you mind if we... Okay. Sorry.
All right. Now we get to award the first place Weight Loss Challenge award winners for the Mayor's Health and Fitness Challenge. All the other awards we gave out last Saturday, I think it was, right out here in Dave Hood Plaza, and we had a great turnout early on a Saturday morning with many of the challengers and participants, but we saved a couple of the best for last. And let's see, Raphael, are you here for women's or men's? Women's. Come on up. We're going to call up Terry Hester. Terry had a 16% weight loss and is a second-time winner.
Yeah, I'm a mayor, commission, and city staff. I'm here representing Volusia's best healthcare provider and only safety net hospital system in our area, and we're all about wellness. So, congratulations. And this is just in case something hurts.
Oh, thanks again. Oh, what's life-changing?
I know, awesome. Well, the mayor, it's the mayor's. So. Yeah, go ahead.
And next is Jeff Massey. Jeff with a 14% weight loss. Good stuff. Did you want to say anything? Not at all. All right. Congratulations to you. Let's get a picture. And last but not least, we need to recognize the person who really puts the whole program together, Christina McGuire. She does an amazing job. Christina, come on up. Just want to present you with a small token of appreciation. That's small. Congratulations. Christina's shy. She doesn't want to say anything right now, but she really does do an amazing amount of work with all our partners, our challengers, and participants, and so we appreciate it every single year. Absolutely. If you were a challenger, go ahead and stand up, or participant. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Christine. We'll move to audience remarks and start with Jim Schultz.
Jim Schultz, 117 Harvard Drive. I've sort of got a tendency, if I see something, I sort of say something. As I was coming over the bridge, I saw a festival or a festive type situation there. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was anti-Monsanto. Instead, it had a little bit different tone to it. It was for abortion rights or elimination of fetal masses, you know. Somehow, it just doesn't strike me right. You know, when I was in college, I believed, yeah, women's rights, but I'm sort of evolving towards maybe a baby's rights, especially, you know, my wife was involved in a situation. She was a med tech in '83 at a hospital, inner city Detroit. Did a lot of abortions. One baby happened to pop out prior to being dismembered. Doctor requested she shut the baby up by drowning him. Ouch. She declined. She was almost fired. You know, that sounds wrong. Anyways, my next topic. Let's do something positive. I had covered Hollis and Wagner 2009 on how to deliver a healthy baby. The study was done over 4 years, and then they extended it 10 years. You could cut premature births in half by giving them a substantial, it's either 400 international units of vitamin D, it was 2,000 or 4,000. The 4,000 dose cut premature births in half, underweight babies, cut infections in the babies and the mama, gestational diabetes. That's a pretty big thing to do. And then they extended the study, and when they extended it, they decided, well, what would happen if we gave them a bit more vitamin D? Carol Baggerly, University of California, suggested they go to 60 nanograms per milliliter, which most people don't get to unless you're supplementing, and they cut the things down 70%. That's more than 2/3 reduction. So being a premature baby is a huge risk, a huge expense for the system. There's just nothing good about it unless you're on the bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Linda Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. I agree with Mayor Partington. The words that best describe what came out of OB Life is quality, sustainable growth while maintaining Ormond's small town charm. That was a quote from the Ormond Observer regarding the goals laid out for the strategic planning workshop for OB Life. What does quality, sustainable growth mean? There are probably as many definitions as individuals present at OB Life about what we mean by quality, sustainable growth. But that was pretty much the theme, I agree, throughout the entire event. But the devil's in the details about how to define quality, sustainable growth. I became very curious about this, so I went to the Quality of Life Board and asked them about it. And they suggested I talk with Claire Whitley, who was nice enough to talk with me and listen to me about that. And after talking with Claire and various Ormond Beach staff, it appears that the direction for such a defining group on sustainable growth must come from you all, the elected officials. So while researching this, I came across this quote: "Now more than ever, it is important to balance environmental and economic considerations in our daily operations. A sustainable future for Volusia County and our entire region will be based on solutions that include environmental, economic, and social considerations." This came from the Volusia County Council regarding the Sustainability Action Plan that was done by Ecom Technical Services in 2012 and adopted by Volusia County in 2014. I was astonished that this work had already been done, because I was thinking we were going to have to start from scratch to find out and define sustainability for ourselves. It's a very thorough, wide-ranging study on sustainability goals, what they're based on, how to implement and measure them. The goals are very similar to our goals to provide a healthy economy, environment and community, efficient transportation and community design, water conservation and efficiency, renewable energy, reduce waste, and promote recycling. It is all the things we want for our community and what I think came out of OB Life. We were very lucky in our county to have such a study. We are very lucky, right at our fingertips. And it provides research for such a plan to define what we meant by quality sustainability growth. And an example is a project we're looking at tonight to repave the parking lot, to pave a parking lot. That could go through a sustainability plan and say, do we want to pave, or do we want to let the water, leave it permeable? And of course that depends on a lot of things, according to Claire, ADA recommendations and all that stuff. So I'm going to send you all the sustainability plan, and I want you to look at it and see if you're willing to incorporate
Elizabeth
that.
Kent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth Kent. How are you?
866 Lindenwood Circle West, Ormond Beach. I was cut off in mid-sentence, as I should have been, 3-minute limit, so without further much ado, I endorse what the previous speaker said, and I'm very glad that people are looking at sustainable growth for that quality sustainable growth. As I mentioned last week, the rate of global change in nature has been so great in the past 50 years, it is unprecedented in human history. 75% of the land surface is significantly altered. 66% of the ocean is experiencing cumulative impacts, as you know, particularly with pollution in the coastal areas, with plastic, which is burgeoning everywhere. And that's why I spoke about recycling during the first time I ever spoke here. 85% of wetlands have been lost, and we live in a wetland area. Land degradation has put at risk $577 billion in annual crops globally because of pollination loss. I have seen 2 bees in my immediate area, and I back onto Tomoka State Park, and one I filmed was dying. Our pollinators are in serious trouble, as you know, because of colony collapse of bees, but I've never seen it at such a degree. And one of the reasons is because I believe, well, of course, it's the spraying of insecticides and chemicals, and I've encouraged my neighbors to decrease the use of glyphosate. That is the, now Bayer owns it, Monsanto product. It has been banned by use in Miami and in other cities across the nation, as well as other places across the world. This is going into our wetlands, into our which are estuaries, which are breeding grounds for our shrimp, our crab, our fish, and so many other species on which our very livelihoods, our economy depends. And so when we do sustainable growth, I hope that it is with all of these threats in mind, which we must take care of immediately, and we must address as citizens and leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Kent. Ike Leary.
Mr. Mayor and staff, Ike Leary. Next Monday, Memorial Day, is our 20th year at the bait shop. From 11 to 2, we're going to have live entertainment, free hot dogs, watermelon, fish dip, and I'd like for everybody to come on out. It's going to be fun. And a free raffle with some nice gifts. So,
when you say fish dip, are you talking about smoked mullet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to give out
That's right.
300 samples for everybody to try.
Awesome.
So I'd like for you all to come out.
Looking forward to it. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ike. Thank you. Don Cunningham.
Hello, everybody. At 52 inches of rainfall, I figured it out, and I might be wrong, 6 million gallons an acre from the sky. And if we can hang on to it, we can grow. I just planted 3 grapefruit trees and laid it out to hold on to the water. And up rolls Michael Rodriguez, and he goes, "Stop digging!" You know, I used to run into that all the time when I was in the landscape contracting business. People, what did you do here? I hauled off 20 yards of dirt. Oh, I hauled off 20 yards of dirt.
Don, yeah, if you could speak a little closer to the microphone.
Yeah. That's the only way out of the woods to solve water pollution. And it's going to mean the extinction of our species if we don't get real about it. And the other thing about the grading work is our asphalt paving. And when you put a ditch out and fill it up with crushed cement, it'll bring the water in from the edge and actually cause the road to have stability. The best stability you can get is through the recharge of that. The Institute of Asphalt Paving is in Dayton, Ohio, and they have a convention every year up there, and there's a little Scotsman who was hired by the county, and he laid out all this work. The only thing you see left is that one retaining wall behind Frappes. That's the only thing that I see left of Logan. And he would brag. He was my neighbor growing up. He said they were tearing their hairs out of their head trying to figure out how this little dirt farmer, Anyway, it was interesting to know him and to put me in touch with the realities of grading work. It's an art, and every parcel has its own challenges, and you really got to stand around and look at it and figure out what to do to make each parcel do its best, because our lives do depend on it. Our children's children's children will stand around and go, how do they manage to screw it up that bad and not know what they were doing? Because you look at the river, it's 6 feet of sludge. It used to all go to the other side. That's where the channel was, and work its way out into the bottom of the ocean. And that doesn't. Well, anyway, I've said enough. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Don. All right. The approval of the minutes. The minutes have been sent to the commission for review and posted to the city's website. Any additions, corrections, deletions?
I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll show the minutes approved unanimously and move on to our CRA item. The following items are community redevelopment items. The City Commission serves as the community redevelopment agency of the city and must review these items and make a recommendation as the CRA. Therefore, at this time, we will recess the City Commission meeting and call the CRA meeting to order. And as chairman of the CRA, I'll open the public hearings and ask that our secretary read 7A by title only.
Resolution number 2019-97, a resolution of the City Commission, also acting as the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, authorizing the First Amendment to the City of Ormond Beach Building Improvement Grant Program Grant Agreement between the city/agency and the Highlander Corporation for the first 337 days extension to August 1st, 2020 to the agreement and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2019-97, read by title only.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And I don't have any cards on 7A. Is there any discussion at this time?
No, but I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
In that case, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and we'll show that passing unanimously. And at this time, I'll close the public hearings and reconvene the City Commission meeting, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. That's agenda or docket number 8. Anyone wish to pull any items from the consent agenda? Otherwise, I just need a motion in a second.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Selby?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes, and we will move to 9A, public hearings. I'll open the public hearings.
Can I say something about the consent agenda?
Absolutely. This would be the appropriate time
Thank you.
for any commission member to comment, and I'll recognize you, Commissioner Littleton.
Item C dealt with the Community Development Block Grant, and a lot of work is done through our Neighborhood Improvement Advisory Board. The chairman of that board, Josh Pringle, is here, and I do want to recognize him and appreciate how much work he does for the city.
Josh, would you stand up? Thank you for being here. You deserve a round of applause. Anyone else? Yes. Commissioner Selby.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on item E. and I had a lengthy conversation with the city manager earlier today, and then she provided quite a bit of follow-up afterwards. This is we spent a little over $500,000 on that item, improving HVAC, heating, ventilating, air conditioning systems for this building, for the South Ormond Neighborhood Center, and for casements. That's right, casements. And my concern was we only had one bidder, okay? And and I just felt like that concerns me. We spend that much money and we only have one respondent. It went out through a service that they regularly use called Demand Star, which had several hundred contractors, I believe 5 or maybe more, downloaded the package, but only one chose to respond. This is the second time we bid this. I'm saying all this for the benefit of the citizens because I decided not to pull this from the agenda and say all this because I felt like what staff did was thorough on this and that they also modified the specs to reduce the costs and to save some money. So with all that being said, I just want to know that the staff here, and these are things that need to be done. You know, these are things that will save money and make the city facilities operate more efficiently. And it's also an indication of the times that construction is so good that people aren't bidding on a $500,000 job. Are you kidding me? You know, but that's kind of that's the way it is. So in any case, I just wanted to congratulate staff for doing a great job and watching pennies in the same way that that those of us up here do.
Thank you, Commissioner Selby. Commissioner Persis.
I just wanted to make a comment about item K. I'm very excited about the Stanley Steamer display that's going to be in the Ormond garage. We saw a photo in our packet, or I guess on our mail out that we received, and the car itself is going to be raised on a lift. So when you walk or drive by, you'll be able to see it. And it's going to be, I think, really add a lot of charm to our downtown. And I'm sorry that Dorian just walked out because I wanted to just, say something to her as well. But it's going to be very, very exciting. And I just wanted to say, I just appreciate them. And Bill Jones is just doing a great job with our downtown, everything that he does.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Now we'll move to public hearings. If I haven't already, I'll open the public hearings, and Colby, if you would, please read 9A.
Ordinance number 2019-16, an ordinance approving the final plat for the Security First at Ormond Crossing subdivision, a planned mixed-use development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2019-16, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I'll ask our planning director, Stephen Spraker, to speak on this item.
Good evening, Steve Spraker. This is a plat for the Security First property. In essence, what they're doing is they're taking the 48 acres and separating out from the 2,924 acres. Within your packet, this would be the area that is being subdivided. The Security First obviously is under construction, looking to be completed by the end of the summer. This will allow the mechanism to plat this one lot. Staff is recommending approval of the final plat.
Thank you, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen? I don't have any cards.
I move for approval ordinance number 2019-16.
Second.
Any other discussion? Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Selby?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9B.
Ordinance number 2019-17, an ordinance authorizing the execution and issuance of a fourth amendment to the amended final order for the Hunters Ridge Development of Regional Impact Master Development Plan Development Order to change the existing land use designation of one parcel of real property located at 2575 West Granada Boulevard, Volusia County parcel number 4128-00-00-0025 from public/institutional to single-family residential, ratifying and confirming all prior approvals, providing for recordation, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2019-17, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. And again, I'll ask our planning director, Stephen Spraker, to speak on this item.
This is an application to amend the development of regional impact. Previously, the City Commission looked at the land use, so this is really the zoning component. The area in question is off of West Granada Boulevard. Originally allowed a public institutional, so a church or assisted living facility could go there. They're seeking to allow one single-family residential unit, which would be located right here. It did go to our planning board, who recommended approval. Staff is also recommending the change to the development of regional impact from public institutional to single-family residential.
Thank you, Stephen. This is 9B. Any questions for Stephen? I don't have any cards.
I move approval for ordinance number 2019-17.
I second.
I'll let Colby figure that out. That's right.
I'll figure it out.
Any discussion? Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes. And 9C.
Resolution number 2019-102, a resolution authorizing the execution and issuance of a development order for a special exception to allow outdoor storage in excess of 49% of the total building area proposed at Total Comfort, located at 1345 North US Highway 1 within the I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, providing for recordation, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2019-102, read by title only.
Thank you. And Stephen, we're keeping you busy tonight. Planning Director Stephen Spraker.
This parcel of land is located at US 1 and Southland Road, so that big rectangle is the property. It's being developed in two phases. The first phase will actually be the RV and boat storage, which is located on this portion of the property. And then the second phase proposes a two-story building, and they are seeking to do outdoor storage for the equipment related to the Total Comfort use. As part of the first phase, there will be some landscaping that will be put along US 1 and Southland, and then as they develop the second phase, additional landscaping. So you'll have the building in front of the outdoor storage, you'll have fencing and landscaping. At the neighborhood meeting, there was some question of where the residential is located approximately right here, and then next to it would be the RV and boat storage, and the outdoor storage would be located next to the other industrial uses. They did hold a neighborhood meeting on March 12th, which went very well. Planning board recommended approval of the item 7-0, and staff is also recommending approval of the allowance of the outdoor storage.
Thank you, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen?
Yeah, I have one question,
Selby.
Stephen. Is that I buy my LP gas from them because it's the best place in town to buy LP gas. Is that the LP gas island up there?
Correct. So you'll be able to
drive in
and so it'll be even more efficient for you.
Fantastic.
I have a question, Mayor.
Commissioner Littleton.
Stephen, it's correct that this outdoor storage is going to be sort of blocked off by the building, so it won't be seen from US 1?
The building and the fencing and then the landscaping in front.
Thank you.
So yes.
Thank you, Stephen. I do have one card, if needed, representing the applicant, Mr. Buswell, but I think unless anybody has any questions of the applicant, we can just would need a motion in a second.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes. And at this time, we will close the public hearings and move to reports, suggestions, and requests. And tonight we start with City Manager Joyce Shanahan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners. First of all, I'd like to remind you that on May 27th, the Memorial Day holiday, we will be having a shade meeting at 9:30 a.m. That's a meeting in private to discuss collective bargaining negotiations. Also on that day, it's Memorial Day, as a reminder. At 9 a.m., there's a Memorial Day remembrance ceremony, the shade meeting at 10:30, and then there's a Granada Pier ribbon cutting at 12 noon. So thank you very much for spending your day with your city staff. We appreciate that. On June 4th, we will be conducting the City Commission CIP budget workshops. The CIP document was released to you today. You should have received it at your house or in your mailbox. So we look forward to discussing that with you. Staff has set up individual briefing meetings with you on that matter that we'll conduct before the June 4th meeting. From June 4th through July 30th, you'll be giving staff some time to prepare the operating budget, and you will not have any regularly scheduled meetings. We return to a regular schedule on July 30th at 5:30 p.m. for an operating budget workshop and a regular commission meeting. I wanted to briefly update you on Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Matthew. Don't get too excited. We have not received any funding yet from Hurricane Irma. I'm trying to get to my spreadsheet here. We have most of the stuff obligated. Let's see, Hurricane Irma. We have received, from Hurricane Irma, we have received FEMA and state obligation on 14 public works orders, or whatever they call them, for $323,000. We anticipate receiving $285,000 in reimbursement, and we are waiting to send. We are waiting for the state to send these funds to us. We have approximately 10 additional PWs waiting for FEMA obligation. The two projects are classified as large projects. They're the Casson Pier and the debris removal, and they total about $3 million. So we haven't gotten that money from the state yet for Irma. For Matthew, we've received $6.3 million reimbursement. We're still waiting for one last PW to be approved, and that is for the lighting at the ball fields in the downtown street lighting, both of which were damaged during the hurricane, replacing all of those with energy efficient LED lighting, so yay for us. And we expect that FEMA will approve that in short order. So we expect about $550,000 in reimbursement for that. And then we had to pay the upgrade to LED lighting, but it was helpful to have that paid. So I just kind of wanted to let you know that it's a very long process. Staff stays on top of it, and we're hopeful that as we enter the new hurricane season, we won't have any problems there. I did want to take a brief minute and say that I had the pleasure of doing a ride-along with the police and fire departments, not this weekend, but last weekend. I know this commission is very proud of the work the men and women of our police and fire departments do for your city, and I can tell you I feel that way every day, but I was even more proud when I had the opportunity to do a ride-along. Oddly enough, Station 92 only had one call while I was there. Usually they're really busy, but it seems like the city manager is a good luck charm for them and a bad luck charm for me because we don't do anything. No, I'm just teasing. And then in particular on Saturday night, I had an opportunity to ride along with Officer Hyatt and K9 Kane. And I was kind of really afraid of K9 Kane. He's a large German Shepherd with a very big head. And you get into the cockpit of the car with K9 Kane, and Officer Hyatt slides open the door that holds the German Shepherd behind you, and then all of a sudden this huge head pops out. But then he gives you all kinds of kisses. But if you're outside the car, forget it. So, but we had one incident that we ran. K9 Kane is not a biting dog. He's a drug-sniffing dog, and there was a motor vehicle stop on Clyde Morris Boulevard. The folks were speeding, and the officer detected an odor of marijuana when he pulled up to the car, so they called the K9 officer in. It was a very interesting traffic stop, and the officers displayed a great amount of decorum, and they really de-escalated the situation. It was kind of really heated for a while, but they did an amazing job de-escalating. Kane did 2 loops to the car and sat right at the driver's seat door, and we knew that there was drugs there. So I want to congratulate both Chief Sievers and Chief Godfrey for the exemplary men and women we have working for our city, and I'm proud of what they do to keep us safe and to keep our property safe. So that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley.
No, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. And City Attorney Randy Hayes.
Yes, sir. I do have one update for you this evening. This is on the Ontario's Assisted Living Facility project. They This is a for-profit entity that was going to develop the ALF with tax-exempt bond financing, and they left us, went over to the county. The county council considered the request this morning and granted the host jurisdiction approval, which will pave the way for the applicant to finance this through the tax-exempt financing. The county council granted the approval subject to the pilot agreement, which we have right here. And this is a significant document. Forever is a very long time. And that's how long this will last, forever. So at a subsequent commission meeting, what we'll do is we'll cost this out, we'll value this out to give you some idea of what all of the taxing authorities might be able to expect in return. This preserves the revenue stream from the tax base in the event that the for-profit entity should convert over to a nonprofit entity. For the Volusia County, the city, the school board, all of the taxing authorities are protected by this. The discussion was good at the county council meeting, and the county council recognized the need for a policy to avoid situations similar to what we had, so they gave direction to the staff to bring back a policy in that regard. I will say that the county staff, from the county manager's office down to the county attorney's office, worked very closely with us, and we were very appreciative of the opportunity to have input into the documents as well as the process itself, and that was true from the minute that the applicant went over to the county until literally the day before the meeting. I mean, we were just in constant communication with them, so that was very much appreciated. And it just shows that when we have common interests, that we can work well together. So that's my report on that.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy, for all your hard work on that. It's the type of topic or issue that very, very few people understand how critically important that was, but really a huge success for staff and the city attorney's office. Like you said, forever is a long time, and just the principle of good government and how things should operate would have dictated that this would have made common sense, but it took a lot of work by you and your folks to make sure it happened. So thank you for all that. And moving on with reports, suggestions, and requests, tonight we start with Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you, Mayor. I did want to say that, again, anytime I have an issue or something or concern, questions, comments, and I hand it off to Joyce, before I even get the chance to check on it myself, it is completed. And that's because of her leadership and her ability to galvanize a great work ethic through her staff. So, yes, and staff in and of themselves, each individual does a great job and works very hard. So I want to thank our city staff for all they do.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Selby.
Thank you, Mayor. So I think there's really only a couple of things I want to report, just in case anybody hasn't heard. The sales tax initiative was defeated, and 2 of the 4 local election questions passed. Unfortunately, they're tied to the first one, which failed. So the first 2 failed. So the 4-year terms and staggering both failed, but the voters did support term limits and the primary. However, those were tied to the first one. Did I get that right? Mm-hmm. No?
Yeah, primary is not contingent, Commissioner.
Oh, primary is not contingent. Oh, okay, good. Oh. Okay, well, my apologies. So so we will now have a primary when there's 3 or more candidates, and then the sales tax was defeated also. So that's I actually had a lady approach me on the way in, asked me about the homeless shelter, and we had a really effective workshop gosh, I guess it was about 10 days ago, where and of course, because it was a workshop, we weren't able to take any formal action. However, we ended up with 10 very meaningful questions to be answered at the next meeting, which was today at 4 o'clock. I actually had to leave early. At 6:30, it was still going pretty strong. Bill Denny was there. I think I saw Bill walk. Yeah, there's Bill. Bill Denny was there, and I think he may have stayed till the end. And so that I could get here for this meeting. And what I want to report to you is that it was a fantastic meeting. And I honestly believe that we have turned a major corner, and that the cooperative spirit has come alive for this project, for the First Step Homeless Shelter. The Daytona Beach City Manager was there, Jim Chisholm. He spoke. We had several cooperative discussions about how we can reduce costs and save money and operate the center very efficiently. I had to leave before they got into the details of this, but there's a long list of what we call FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, that need to be purchased in order for the center to operate properly. I'm confident that the board members, as well as other community members, will come together to either donate money or provide on an in-kind basis some of those items, or they will be purchased outright. And the city of Daytona Beach said that some of the funds that we're already holding could be used for that, for the acquisition of those, as opposed to reserving those only for operations after the center's open. So all that being said, the facility is coming along great. They expect to have a certificate of occupancy before the end of September, so that sometime, hopefully in October, maybe early November, the homeless shelter will be open. And just without getting too deep in the weeds, the center will be Pottinger compliant. And what that means, Pottinger is a decision that was rendered by the Supreme Court, Bill? Is that right? Or was it Florida?
Federal.
Federal?
Court.
Yeah, federal. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's sort of the guiding law right now in the country that basically we cannot arrest somebody for bodily functions, performing bodily functions, sleeping, and the other body, number one, number two, okay, in public, in public space, okay, unless there is a place where we can take them where they can perform those functions. And that generally is known as a safe zone. And up until now, up until really our workshop, there was a concern about, everybody was all on board about having a shelter with a program, with programs and counseling where people could get better, and hopefully would ultimately become self-sufficient, live on their own. But there was concern about whether or not we wanted the safe zone, which also is called the overflow area, adjacent to or included with the shelter. Well, tonight we finally decided that no, that safe zone needs to be right there. It needs to be part of the center, but it's going to be outside. And so if you're homeless and you're taken there and you don't want to participate in the programs, then you can stay outside, okay, under a cover and on a concrete slab. There'll be rules. It won't be chaos. There won't be any drinking or carrying on or cavorting or loud music or anything like that. But if you want to participate in the programs, then you can come indoors, and you can, you'll have a bed, and and you'll have 3 squares, and et cetera, et cetera. There was even discussion about, the city of Daytona Beach agreed several months back to fully furnish the kitchen. The kitchen is $400,000. That was a $400,000, that one room to furnish it with the equipment. And we said, well, are you buying new equipment? And they said, yes. We've got it spec'd out for new kitchen equipment. And two or three of us who have experience with that said, you know, you can buy used kitchen equipment that is very commercial kitchen equipment for like pennies on the dollar. We don't need that. We don't need new equipment, you know, and we, you know, so that kind of cooperative spirit was kind of permeated through the meeting all night long. So, you know, that might save a couple of $100,000 for the city of Daytona Beach, which then, of course, makes them more willing to pick up some of the slack on things like the security system and the door locks and the, you know, the other big-ticket items that need to be purchased in order to make the building fully functional. So, with that, I'm just, you know, I feel like we, you know, we sort of persevered. I know I'm on Eileen Zaffaro's speed dial because she calls me on a very regular basis, the reporter from the News Journal, and I told Pat Rice that I can't quarrel with anything she's ever written. I just wouldn't have said it the way she says it. You know, I mean, I would have put a different. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that's the marketing side of me coming out. So anyway, I feel like we've you know continued to press forward on this, and that hopefully within the next 4 or 5 months, the homeless shelter will be open, and more importantly, you know, we'll have a place where people who want to get better can really get better, and they'll be able to stabilize things in their lives. We'll be able to help them connect with family, get them the resources that they're entitled to, whether it's government Social Security or VA benefits or whatever, and then ultimately get either into long-term supportive housing if they have mental illness issues, get them into drug or alcohol rehabilitation if that's required, and then ultimately get them, like I mentioned earlier, self-sufficient where they're living independently on their own. So it's very exciting. Takes a lot of time, but it's very rewarding also. So thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you, Commissioner Selby, for that update. And Commissioner Persis.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I kind of wanted to piggyback a little bit on what Joyce said about Canine Kane, because I had the opportunity to meet Canine Kane at the Police Department Awards, and I like dogs, as everybody knows, but I saw him, and he was just the most beautiful German Shepherd, and I went over and petted him, and you know he didn't lick me, he just sniffed me everywhere, and I was safe, so that was good. But he was just an amazing dog, and I just want to just say what a great award night that was, Chief, because you know we all know how hard the police officers and our fire department staff they all work so hard. And when you actually hear firsthand all the stories and things that they do and the bravery that's encompasses everything they do, it's just really daunting. So I just want to just say thank you for everything you do, both of you. Tonight I just want to mention something that I'm excited about. Governor DeSantis recently vetoed a bill which would have prevented cities from banning plastic straws. In the veto, the governor wrote, "The banning of plastic straws has not frustrated any state policy or harmed state interest." Further, he said the Florida Department of Environmental Protection is encouraging residents to reduce plastic straw use. And I agree with the governor on this. We need right here to begin to reduce our use of plastic. Plastic is not biodegradable. It takes years to break down plastic particles. Because of this, when plastic is not recycled, it ends up in the ocean, which harms our marine life and stays there forever. Straws are a small place to start, but this brings attention to conversations about waste management and pollution. We do have other straw choices. I happen to bring one of them right here. This is a package of silicone straws. There's 4 of them, and inside it is a little squeegee that you can clean your straw so you can reuse them. So there's other straw choices other than silicone. There's paper straws, there are glass straws, there's metal straws, and bamboo straws. 10 Florida cities have initiated straw bans, including Miami Beach, St. Petersburg, and Fort Lauderdale. So I would like the Commission's approval to ask our City Attorney, Randy Hayes, to create an ordinance to ban plastic straw use in the city of Ormond Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Persis. And I was supposed to read this, I think, at the beginning, a note from Deputy Mayor Kent He says, "I'm sorry to miss tonight's meeting. In my 16 years on the commission, I believe this is the third meeting I have missed. My first job will always be dad, and I take all of my jobs very seriously. I believe there are some life moments you do not miss. This evening, my son Wyatt is playing in the championship baseball game in Little League, and I need to be there by his side rooting him on. Thank you for understanding, and have a great evening." So I gave the very short Cliff Notes version of that, but I think he wanted that note read, so I can check that off the list. Teacher of the Quarter, we cooperate with the Chamber in recognizing the Teacher of the Quarter winners each year for Ormond Beach schools. I think there's 9 of them. Chairman Persis from the Volusia County School Board is here with us tonight. I wanted to recognize him, and not only for being here, but every time, he doesn't miss a time when there's an opportunity to recognize teachers, and he joins with the Chamber as well and makes sure that our great Ormond Beach teachers are recognized. We had a couple that were retiring this year, people who had long careers with the school system, and we really are blessed to have some amazing people who serve in our classrooms every day. And so I just wanted to recognize that. Also, tangentially school-related, we had the ribbon cutting for the Tomoka Elementary School connector trail that runs along Meisner's Branch. It connects Forest Hills, the Woodlands, and then the neighborhood there on, is it Oak and Magnolia, those 2 streets, provides the children there with a safe way to get to Tomoka Elementary, and then also provides walking, running, skateboarding, bicycling opportunities for the other residents. And it was great. It was early in the morning. I think it was about 7:30. We had the ribbon cutting, and the children, well, when we were first there were maybe 12 or 13 adults, all from the city, and then the children started to ride through, and so they're already using the trail even before it was officially open, and that was awesome to see. So I think there's a picture in the weekly review, and from what I hear from Tomoka Elementary, there are children already using it, and the great thing about that is it keeps the kids off of some of our busiest roads, Nova Road, State Road 40, Granada, and gives them an opportunity to get to school in another way other than being in a car. So it also takes vehicles off of our roads and promotes health and wellness and all those other things. So that was a great morning, and really a huge benefit to our city. And it was grant funded, and staff worked very hard to obtain that grant. I think it was engineering services was the staff match, which is awesome, and it was not inexpensive. I think it was $750,000, but the trail is beautiful. It's lighted, and if you save one life from one young person from being hit by a car, it's worth every penny. So I think through the years it's gonna pay for itself, and that's fantastic. So with that, we will be adjourned at 8:09 p.m. Thank you.